So, Secret of the Mimic. This is definitely a game. I wish I had more to say before starting this video, but the game quite literally just spawned in one day. So while I thought it looked good, I just wanted nothing more for it to succeed and be better than Security Breach. They surprisingly kept this game's appearances as brief as possible, so the same mistakes that they did with Security Breach wouldn't be made this time around. But because of that, I had no feelings for it or expectations coming in. That doesn't mean I wasn't left with any thoughts though. But okay, let's start this. I absolutely adore this game's look. I live for the retro futuristic look all the tech has, and it gives the game such a unique identity. This is something Steel Wool always excels at, and it's no different here. You even get a device called the Data Diver that lets you plug into various doors and computers around the facility, and it has super cool ass graphics and animations for everything. It's super neat. Even the freaking pause menu is fantastic. Like, you have to understand, going from Security Breach's default text menu look, font and all, to something that's so insanely stylized was just shocking. I adore what they did with the style here. It's just, I love when there's so much happening just on the UI level. Especially with games nowadays looking very soulless, this is a fantastic change of pace. Speaking of looks, a few of the main criticisms were the bright neon colors decorating the Pizzaplex lessened the impact of the atmosphere. It didn't really mesh well with a horror game, or what they were going for necessarily. I loved it in the sense that it was extremely well built, with each location being extremely thought out, down to the activities you could do in each one. But there wasn't much purpose to each location other than going and collecting something and then leaving. So there wasn't really much point to putting that much effort into that atmosphere if no one was there to experience it. That's something they addressed here specifically. Every single hallway in this building is packed full of things, just like Security Breach, but in order to make it narrow and compact. Additionally, they have amazing lighting now, which feels thematically appropriate to an abandoned warehouse. So it's combining that excellent environmental design and really honing in and making it enrich the atmosphere. The building always feels like you're not supposed to be there. Having every hallway dimly lit with sound effects filling in the dead air, cutting through the calmness you may feel. It always has you on edge, thinking someone's going to pop out of the corner, or more so, giving you the feeling you're being watched. Anyway, and I really think it works to this game's advantage because when you do get chased and have to hide, you feel very claustrophobic, and when you get caught, it's more so due to panic and lack of space, rather than just getting stuck on a security bot that just so happened to catch you. And because of each location being smaller and more thought out, this means that it's not full of unused real estate. So even if you go back and collect something, it's all used purposely. I really think they got better at that. Oh, and dude, the story? From the very beginning, I was sucked in, and it kept me engrossed. Even if I remember how the story roughly played out based on the books, I was genuinely surprised by a few events that happened here.
Due to a minor detonation, there is damage to my office interior, as well as a small fire. Note to self, portable cleaner that gets rid of smoke damage. Better yet, a Cleanovac attachment. Help! M2! Respond! Emergency! Call for help! Daddy's busy, buddy. Why don't you go outside and play?
What the fuck? You left him to die? And confused by others. I honestly think this is the most narrative-heavy game in the series, next to FNAF 6, which I adore. And especially because everything is here, in the game. You don't have to read the books to know what's happening. It deepens your understanding of certain plot points, but if you honestly just want to experience the game itself through the voice logs and environment details, you can understand it. It's digestible. Like how you can find all the dead technicians that came before you around the manor, and you even see from the beginning that there is a van that's suspiciously been sitting there for a while, giving you the impression that something is wrong from the get-go. That is always cool. I'm genuinely happy they significantly improved their storytelling because it was really, truly grim before this happened. I really appreciated the story in this game, and it's the thing I'll remember from it. Oh, and a special highlight to the music of the game. I know I'll probably give the two obvious examples, but bro, they are so good. Just listen to them. Now, something that they do better here in comparison to Ruin is how they handle the Mimic. So they act as like an omnipresent force around the facility. Not everywhere per se, but enough to keep an eye out for the suits that lie around the environment. It's completely random as to which suit the thing spawns in, but rest assured, even if you complete an area and you go back to it, they will be there. So even if you think there's some downtime, there isn't. And I love that. Compared to the more linear and scripted sequences in Ruin, which, while good at first, every subsequent playthrough lessens its value. This was more of what I was looking for when they tried to be scarier. But to counter that, there's other sequences like this one.
Games of skill are my favorite.
He's just kind of essentially activated here for nothing because you turn the corner too quickly for him to do anything, and it's pretty easy to avoid him. Also, kind of speaking of avoiding, there's this funny glitch that happened to me. At some point during launch, this dude just glitched out of my world and didn't come back until I left the area. He just fell through it. However, I will say they did patch this out in the latest update as of writing this video, but I still found it funny. But anyway, I found the scares that were in the game to be really effective and importantly, challenging. All the encounters I had with the Mimic really had me in a panic and desperately trying to look for an exit or complete the task given to me. And since you lack most, if not all of Gregory's abilities here, it actually plays like a horror game. You're limited and are forced to hide and use evasion tactics. You're very fragile. You cannot defeat this thing or stun it or what have you. And I can't repeat this enough, but they really improved here. They actually made me fear this thing. Oh, fuck! I'm gonna die! Oh my god. Ah! Now, speaking of the Mimic, the AI in this game just kind of sits in this in-between, where it's not as good as something as Alien Isolation, obviously, but it isn't as dumb or bad as something like Security Breach. I think it's good enough to sniff me out of a locker and chase me, but sometimes when it does just space out and you notice, you really notice. Now, I will counteract that clip with one moment I truly loved with the Mimic. It's in the true ending of the game, where you get to the manor itself, and you're tasked with getting all the videotapes you need to proceed while avoiding the Mimic. Not only do you get a very strong stealth sequence, but it's also topped with a scripted chase at the end as well. It's one of the most memorable moments in the game that I felt so stressed, anxious, and tense. And importantly, it was consistent. It was awesome. And this is... I'm cooked. I'm so cooked. I'm so cooked. Oh, he's behind me. He's running. What the fuck? Oh my god! Something I also wanted to praise here was the more paranormal stuff going on with the tire rock section. Even on a replay, I was still shitting my pants because this whole moment you're used to the Mimic chasing you and being able to kind of maneuver around him, but then you're faced with this truly paranormal threat that can just pop in out of any corner without you being able to dodge it properly. It knocks you off your ass in a good way. Like, you're not expecting it, so when it hits you hard. But it's not just that. There's other paranormal stuff happening here. That's just the most obvious one I can point out, but there's this thing too.
Come on. Is that hand supposed to be there? I'm beginning to think that they made this place haunted. I'm beginning to think. Oh, what? The hell? Oh my god. Wow, look at you. Okay. Yeah, this place haunted. Yeah, this place haunted. This place like super haunted. This place omega haunted.
This section in particular was one of the things I've wanted these games, specifically the 3D FNAF games, to feel like an actual 3D FNAF game. Not in the sense of guarding the security room and such. We already kind of saw a bad example of that being that one security breach mission, but more so on the animatronic side of it. How unpredictable the AI in the old games was, where if you let your guard down and you get punished for it, that there's no true prediction, you just have to truly know the game mechanics and work around these animatronics. That's what this section felt like. That's why I think this game is particularly strong, because not only does it have the new FNAF style, where it's more scripted sequences like a traditional horror game, but it has that unpredictability that the old FNAF games used to have. If we could get more of that, that'd be so sick. And specifically, I kind of wanted the AI to do random stuff, because on repeated playthroughs of the game, you wouldn't have the same experience over and over again, if you catch my drift. Especially with that new game plus that you get, where you get to experience the game again. It would have been great if the Mimic's AI could just truly chase you throughout the facility, even if it was just a specific hard mode or something, which would serve as great DLC, mind you. That would be great. Maybe a mod or something can pop up that actually does that, but it would be very cool. As it is though, I think it's fine really. I love it when I get to encounter the Mimic, and I think it's well balanced enough with the puzzles in between and moments where you get lore drops throughout the game. I feel they're especially good because when you finish one of the encounters, you feel a sigh of relief. I feel like that's a good sign of it being well executed, and more importantly, it was challenging. So your reward is finally finishing and having that sigh of relief that you did it. You finished the puzzle. Now, another thing I was more so disappointed by, and I didn't know where to place this, but the animatronics in this game don't really get to shine that much. What I mean by that is that, like, take Jackie for example. She shows up at the beginning of the game, gives chase, you escape her, and that's it. The main animatronic that was advertised everywhere pretty much with this game, and she never gets used again. Same with the others too, except Big Top for some reason, which the Mimic uses like twice. It kind of sucks too, because I really enjoyed them whenever they did show up. Their personalities and especially their designs. It's a highlight of the game. Even if the Mimic is the one controlling them, I wish they at least got to pop up one more time before they got rid of them. I know these are just mostly for the Mimic to use and then dispose of, but like, come on, man, they deserved a little bit more than that. Again, especially Jackie. She got the short end of the stick. Like, what is up with Steel Wool barely using their best characters? I still really enjoyed the game regardless, though in those cases I was just left a tad empty-handed. Something I think this game could have benefited from really is just some post-game content, specifically different modes, like maybe an aggressive mimic mode where he chases you throughout the facility or just spawns in if you take too much time, kind of re-implementing that Vanny timer that never got used, or even just a randomizer type mode where objectives and stuff are mixed around and you have to find a new way to complete the game. Just stuff that would have remixed my other playthroughs of the game, because all that New Game Plus is really for is to just gather all the collectibles you didn't get before. I just wanted something a little bit more than that. Like how FNAF usually has a custom night, or how Security Breach was supposed to have a randomized game mode. Again, they could still do that, or story DLC, but it's up to Steel Wool, really. Also, by the way, what happened to that VR mode that was supposed to happen for this game? It was shown up during PAX, but it was never released. You cannot make this up, but literally the day I'm about to finish editing this video, of course, I took so long with this video that Steel Wool announced that the VR mode is coming in spring 2026. You've got to be fucking kidding me, man. Anyway, although I had my problems, I have to stress again that overall, I was pleasantly surprised with this game, and I was just happy that it was good. That's all I wanted it to be. Even if it was short or whatever, or not as long, I wasn't actively frustrated with it like I was for Security Breach. I really did enjoy my time with it, even on my second playthrough. That's all I really wanted. It's definitely not a perfect game, but a much better attempt at what they were trying to do, and I think they did a good job. I really hope they keep this momentum up. I could have never in a million years thought that they would make me like the Mimic, but they did, and I was so uncertain about this game being set in the past, but it's genuinely one of the most memorable FNAF games in recent memory. I'm still a little salty of how this all played out, because I just wish the Mimic didn't come at the cost of Vanny being cut altogether. I really wish Vanny got her time to shine, but we live in this present time where the Mimic is the main villain, and I think they did a good job justifying why he should be. So, let's see what happens.